Boom! Elias Varn, a slick-talking human diplomat, just threw the dumbest punch in Galactic history, landing him in Vyrath's insane combat trials. A blood-soaked alien arena where metal-skinned Klythari shred each other under stormlit skies. His prize? The smoking hot Princess Vyrath, whose silver skin and killer curves hide a heart that could burn planets. One wrong move, and he's toast. Or worse, he'll spark a war that fries Earth and Vyrath alike. With Emperor Cypherian's slimy schemes and a rebel assassin's blade itching for his throat, Elias is dodging sonic spears and flirting with Vyrath like his life depends on it. Spoiler, it does. Armed with snark, human hustle, and some seriously steamy chemistry, can this outmatched Earthling outwit an empire, steal a princess's heart, and save the galaxy from total meltdown? Strap in. This sci-fi thrill fest will leave your jaw on the floor. Blown away by that cosmic chaos? Smash that subscribe button to join the Galactic rave. Like, comment your wildest moment, and share with your squad to set the stars on fire. The twin suns of Vyrath hung like molten orbs in a violet sky, casting a shimmering glow over Lumisar, the capital of the Klythari Empire. Towers of polished alloy rose like spears, their surfaces pulsing with energy drawn from the planet's mineral-rich core. Sporadic energy storms crackled in the distance, a reminder of Vyrath's untamed power. Elias Varn stepped off the unified planetary Concord shuttle, his boots sinking into the heavier gravity. He tugged at the stiff collar of his navy blue diplomatic suit, muttering, "Who designed this thing? It's like wearing a starship's hull." At 26, Elias was the youngest diplomat in the Concord's delegation, chosen for his quick wit and knack for thinking on his feet. 6 months of high-gravity training hadn't fully prepared him for Vyrath's relentless pull, which felt like a grumpy giant sitting on his chest. He adjusted his comm badge, tried to look composed as he followed Dr. Mirasolin, his mentor and the Concord's top behavioral scientist. Her silver-streaked hair was pulled into a tight bun, her gray eyes scanning the bustling streets of Lumisar. "Eyes sharp, Elias," Mira said, her voice low as they approached the grand arena, a coliseum of gleaming metal that hummed with latent power. The Klythari combat trials are their holiest ritual. One wrong move, and we're back to sending carrier pigeons across the galaxy. Elias grinned, his hazel eyes sparkling with curiosity. "Relax, document. I'm here to observe, not start an interstellar brawl." He couldn't help but gawk at Lumisar's grandeur. The city's towers were etched with runes that glowed in sync with the planet's energy storms, and thousands of Klythari moved through the streets, their metallic skin, copper, silver, or bronze, reflecting the suns. Their hair, like glowing fiber optics, was styled in intricate patterns, braided knots for warriors, cascading weaves for nobles. The air carried scents of molten or tangy spices and a faint electric buzz, like a storm about to break. Myra's expression remained all business. Emperor Cypherian himself is in the stands today, along with Princess Vyrath. Don't stare. Klythari see direct eye contact with royalty as a challenge. Elias smirked, adjusting his cuffs. "I read the briefings, Mira. No staring, no fighting, no diplomatic disasters. I'm basically a model envoy." His pulse quickened at the thought of seeing the Klythari royals. The Concord's intel was patchy, grainy hollow images and rumors of a warrior culture obsessed with honor. Vyrath, in particular, was a mystery, described only as formidable in reports. They entered the arena's concourse, the structure's walls curving upward, crowned with spires that crackled during Vyrath's storms. A thunderous roar erupted from the central ring, where two Klythari warriors dueled in a blur of motion. Their energy-laced blades sparked, slicing through the air with sonic booms. The crowd's cheers vibrated through the metal floor, making Elias's bones hum. "I've got a meeting with their diplomatic corps," Mira said, checking her wrist comm. "You're cleared for the public areas. Stay visible, be respectful, and meet me at the Concord's box before the third match." "Got it, boss." Elias watched her vanish into the sea of Klythari, then turned to the spectacle. He wandered the arena's outer ring, marveling at the alien diversity, tentacled merchants haggling over glowing trinkets, insectoid envoys chittering in harmonic tones. The Klythari Empire spanned dozens of systems, but rarely opened its borders. The Concord's invitation was a rare chance at alliance, and Elias wasn't about to waste it. He paused at a vendor's stall, where a wiry Klythari named Zykar peddled energy-infused snacks. Human. Zykar's bronze skin glinted, his hair pulsing with green light. Try a Zilthar fritter. Won't make you punch anyone, promise. Elias chuckled, buying one. The fritter was tangy, sparking on his tongue like a mild shock. Human. A gravelly voice barked, shattering the moment. A towering Klythari warrior loomed, his copper skin gleaming, his braided hair pulsing with angry red light. His breath reeked of Zilthar, the fermented drink that turned Klythari into walking powder kegs. You don't belong here. Elias raised his hands, palms open in a gesture of peace. Just a diplomatic observer, friend. Full clearance from your emperor. He kept his tone light, but his heart pounded. The warrior's armor clinked, etched with jagged runes that screamed, I eat diplomats for breakfast. Humans are weak. The Klythari sneered, stepping closer. You've never tasted true combat. Elias's eyes flicked to the crowd, hoping for security. Look, I'm here to learn, not throw punches. How about we grab some of Zykar's fritters and call it a day? Learn this. The warrior lunged, his fist of bronze blur aimed at Elias's face. Years of academy sparring kicked in. Elias sidestepped, grabbing the Klythari's arm and flipping him onto his back with a judo move that would have made his old instructor proud. The warrior hit the ground with a clang that echoed like a dropped anvil, sending spectators scrambling. Silence fell, thick and suffocating. Elias froze, realizing every Klythari in sight was staring. The warrior groaned, clutching his bruised pride. Sorry for the mess, Elias started, but a rhythmic thump cut him off. Klythari officials approached, striking ceremonial staffs against the floor. The eldest, his silver skin carved with ritual scars, spoke in accented standard. The human has answered a blood challenge and prevailed. By the right of Tovkal, he is a contender in the sacred combat trials. Elias's stomach did a backflip. Whoa, hold on. This is a misunderstanding. I was just defending myself. The official's amber eyes were unyielding. You executed the Tovkal gesture, disabling without blood. Your name is on the roster. I'm a diplomat. Elias protested, his voice cracking. I negotiate, I don't fight. To withdraw dishonors your world, the official said, his tone like a slammed door. It could be seen as war. A commotion near the imperial box drew Elias's gaze. Princess Vera Klytharian stood there, her presence commanding the arena. Unlike the stiff, hollow images, she was electrifying. Her silver skin shimmered like molten metal, her armor sleek and battle-ready, accentuating her athletic frame. Her hair, a cascade of glowing strands, was woven with energy crystals that pulsed in rhythm with her movements. Her amber eyes locked onto Elias for a heartbeat, a mix of curiosity and challenge, before she turned to murmur to a guard. The princess acknowledges your entry, the official said. Your first match is at dawn. Elias swallowed hard, his mouth dry. What's the prize for this tournament? The official's lips twitched. Amusement? Sacred knowledge, revealed only to those who advance. It is the Empire's greatest honor. As the officials departed, Elias stood rooted, his mind racing. Zykar, the vendor, whistled from his stall. Nice move, human. Bet 10 credits, you make it to round 2. Elias shot him a weak grin, but his thoughts were elsewhere. How was he going to explain to Mira that her no-incidents rule had gone up in flames in under 10 minutes? Somewhere in the crowd, he felt Vera's gaze lingering, sizing him up like a predator. This mission just got a lot messy, eh? You what? Myra's voice bounced off the walls of the Concord's cramped quarters, her composure cracking like cheap glass. Elias stood at attention, still reeling from the arena fiasco. I defended myself, document. How was I supposed to know it had signed me up for their gladiator fest? Elias ran a hand through his dark hair, pacing the small room. Mira massaged her temples, her gray eyes flashing. This is why we have cultural briefings, Elias. Klythari challenges are sacred. By tossing that warrior, you accepted his fight. What if I bail? Elias asked, sinking onto a metal bench. Best case, we lose all diplomatic cred. Worst case, they execute you for spitting on their traditions. She sighed, sinking into a chair. You're in this now. We'll find a diplomatic fix, but you have to compete. A chime at the door cut through the tension. A Klythari attendant entered, carrying an ornate case. Combat attire for the human contender, he said, setting it down with a bow before exiting. Inside was flexible armor, tailored for human anatomy, but etched with Klythari runes that glowed faintly. The craftsmanship was unreal, light yet durable, like it was forged by starlight. They move fast, Elias said, running his fingers over the runes. Myra's eyes narrowed. This isn't standard gear. It's custom. Someone planned for a human to fight. Her voice dropped to a whisper. This smells like Cypherian's handiwork. Elias's first match was set for dawn. Sleep was a pipe dream as he pored over the Concord sparse data on Klythari combat. Their metallic skin gave them strength. Their long limbs gave reach. But humans had agility and improvisation. He needed every trick in the book. He pulled up hollow footage of Klythari duels, studying their rigid forms, and practiced moves in the cramped quarters, nearly knocking over a data console. Careful, hot shot, Mira said, catching a mid-spin. You break that, and we're billing you for a new one. Elias grinned. Just warming up. Gotta look good for the princess, right? Mira rolled her eyes. Focus on surviving, not flirting. The arena at daybreak was a sea of silent Klythari, their glowing hair creating a surreal light show. Elias entered, the custom armor fitting like a glove, though its weight tugged at his shoulders. His opponent, Valthor, stood 7 feet tall, his bronze skin gleaming under the suns. He twirled a double-bladed staff that hummed with energy, its edges crackling. From the Imperial box, Vera watched, her ceremonial armor adorned with crystalline pauldrons that caught the light. Her expression was unreadable, but her amber eyes tracked Elias like a hawk. The official struck a gong, its resonance shaking the air. First blood or surrender decides the victor. Begin. Valthor charged, his staff slicing the air with a sonic whoosh. Elias dove, the blade grazing his shoulder, sparking against his armor. The crowd murmured, surprised by his speed. Stand still, human. Valthor growled, unleashing a flurry of strikes that forced Elias to scramble. He stayed defensive, dodging and weaving, studying Valthor's patterns. Klythari trained in rigid forms, flawless but predictable, like a dance with no improvisation. Elias ducked under a high swing, the staff whistling over his head. He rolled behind a metal pillar, using it as cover. Valthor's strikes dented the pillar, sending sparks flying. Coward! The Klythari roared, circling for a clear shot. Elias's mind raced, recalling a tactic from his academy days, misdirection. He faked a stumble, luring Valthor into a reckless charge. As Valthor swung, Elias sidestepped, landing a quick jab to the warrior's midsection. Valthor staggered, his eyes wide. Klythari didn't fight this close. Elias kept moving, his strikes erratic, throwing off Valthor's rhythm. He aimed for joints, exploiting the Klythari's reliance on broad, powerful moves. The crowd's murmurs grew into a low roar, their hair pulsing brighter. In the Imperial box, Vera leaned forward, her composure slipping for a split second. Valthor roared, his staff a blur. You mock our ways. Just trying to keep my face intact, Elias quipped, ducking another swing. He faked a retreat, then dropped low, sweeping Valthor's legs, a move straight from Earth's martial arts. The warrior crashed down, the impact echoing through the arena. Elias pinned the staff's blade to Valthor's throat, drawing a bead of shimmering blood. First blood, the official boomed. The human advances. Silence gripped the arena, then scattered applause broke out, swelling into grudging respect. Elias offered Valthor a hand up, a human gesture that left the warrior baffled. As he left the ring, Elias glanced at Vera. She was speaking to Karvox, a grizzled Klythari advisor, her gestures sharp and animated. Zykar, the vendor, caught Elias outside the arena, his hair flashing green. Told you you'd make round 2. 20 credits, says you hit the quarterfinals. Elias chuckled, tossing him a Concord coin. You're on. Later, in his quarters, Elias was icing bruises when Karvox himself appeared. The elder's silver skin was weathered, his hair a tight braid of glowing strands. Your tactics are unorthodox, he said, circling Elias like a drill sergeant. You broke 12 combat tenets. Elias tensed, expecting a lecture. I use what works. Karvox's lips twitched, a smile. The princess sent me to assess you. She finds your adaptability intriguing. Elias's brows shot up. The princess? Don't get cocky, human. Her interest is strategic. She studies all threats. Karvox paused, his amber eyes narrowing. Your next opponent will counter your tricks. You'll need more than luck. Are you offering to help? I'm ensuring you don't embarrass the tournament by dying too quickly. Karvox's tone was dry as Vyrath's deserts. The princess will watch her next match closely. Don't disappoint. Over the next 3 days, Elias fought 2 more matches, each tougher than the last. His second opponent, Silver, was a wiry Klythari with a sonic blade that vibrated the air, disorienting Elias. He won by using the arena's reflective walls to blind Silver with a redirected energy burst, a trick that drew gasps from the crowd. The third match, against Cryon, a noble with a reputation for endurance, pushed Elias to his limits. Cryon's relentless strikes forced Elias to rely on hit-and-run tactics, darting in for quick jabs before retreating. He clinched the win by luring Cryon into a trap, using a fallen banner to tangle the warrior's legs. The crowd, once hostile, began to murmur with intrigue, their glowing hair pulsing brighter with each upset. Zykar became Elias's unofficial cheerleader, shouting, "That's my human," from the stands, his bets on Elias raking in credits. Elias found the vendor's enthusiasm oddly comforting, a small anchor in the chaos. Karvox became his reluctant coach, his training sessions brutal but effective. "Your face betrays you," he barked as Elias sparred with a holographic dummy in a palace training chamber. Klythari read micro-expressions. Control yourself or die. Elias wiped sweat from his brow, panting. What's this greatest honor everyone's so cagey about? The prize. Karvox's eyes flickered, surprise quickly masked. You fight without knowing? I was dragged into this, remember? Myra's still trying to negotiate my exit. There is no exit, Karvox said, his voice like iron. The prize is sacred. Only the worthy learn its nature. Elias pressed, sensing a crack. Come on, Karvox. Give me a hint. Is it a shiny trophy? A lifetime supply of Zilthar fritters. Karvox's lips twitched, but he stayed silent, gesturing to the dummy. Again, your stance is sloppy. Before Elias could push further, the training room's doors hissed open. Princess Vera strode in, flanked by her handmaiden, Lisha. The room fell silent, the air crackling with her presence. Leave us, she commanded, her voice sharp but melodic, like a blade wrapped in silk. Everyone but Elias, Karvox, and Lisha cleared out. Up close, Vera was breathtaking. Her silver skin shimmered with faint fractal patterns, visible only at this distance, and her amber eyes seemed to pierce his soul. Her hair, woven with energy crystals, pulsed softly, casting light across her sharp cheekbones. So, you're the human disrupting our sacred trials, she said, circling him like a predator. You fight well for an outsider. Elias bowed, his heart racing. Thank you, your highness. Not a compliment. She stopped, her gaze locking onto his. Your moves mock centuries of tradition. They keep me breathing, Elias said, meeting her eyes, a risky move. Her brows twitched, caught off guard by his boldness. You face Thrime of House Varkes in the quarterfinals, she said, her voice cool. He studied your fights. Why tell me? Elias asked, tilting his head. A ghost of a smile curved her lips. Maybe I want a real contest. Or maybe I'm curious how humans fare when cornered. She turned to leave, pausing at the door. Carvox, my father summons you. Then, softer to Elias, fight well, human. The Empire is watching. That evening, Carvox returned with a bombshell. The princess argued with Emperor Cypherian today about you. Elias looked up from analyzing combat footage. Me? What? She questions your inclusion. The Emperor insists you continue. Carvox's voice dropped to a whisper. There are political currents here you don't grasp. Cypherian covets your Concord's quantum interface tech. Mira mentioned trade talks, but nothing military, Elias said, frowning. Carvox's expression darkened. Some oppose any human alliance. Your survival complicates their plans. Elias leaned back, processing. So, I'm a pawn in a galactic chess game? Carvox grunted. A pawn who fights like a knight. Rest, human. Thrime won't be easy. The quarterfinals were a bloodbath. Thrime, a hulking Klythari with a scar across his bronze face, had studied Elias's tricks and countered with brutal precision. His energy whip cracked like thunder, forcing Elias into desperate evasions. The arena's energy storm added chaos, lightning crackling overhead, illuminating Thrime's savage grin. Elias took a deep gash to his ribs, blood soaking his armor. Pain seared his side, but he flashed back to his academy days, grueling sparring under Earth's sun, his instructor shouting, use their strength against them. He baited Thrime into overextending, then slammed him into an arena pillar with a grappling move. The pillar crumpled, sending a shock wave through the crowd. Thrime staggered, and Elias pinned him, drawing first blood. The official's voice boomed. The human advances. The crowd's murmurs were now tinged with respect, their hair pulsing like a living aurora. Elias limped out, bloodied but victorious, catching Vera's gaze. Her expression was neutral, but her eyes held a flicker of something. Pride, maybe? In the medical bay, Mira stormed in, her face ashen. We need to talk, she said, dismissing the Klythari healers. Once alone, she dropped the bomb. The tournament prize is marriage. The winner weds Princess Vyrath. Elias's jaw dropped. I'm fighting to marry the princess. It's their holiest tradition, Mira said, pacing. The trials choose the strongest to join the royal line. And it gets worse. That drunk warrior? Not random. Someone, likely Cypherian, set you up to force a marriage for our tech. Elias's mind spun, the pieces clicking into place. Before Mira could answer, the door hissed open. Vyrath stepped in, dismissing her guards with a sharp gesture. Her amber eyes flicked from Mira to Elias, her expression like a storm about to break. So, you know, she said, her voice icy, and now you'll quit, citing some human principle. Mira stepped forward. Your Highness, this is untenable. Leave us. Vyrath cut in, her tone brooking no argument. When Mira hesitated, she added, diplomatic immunity has limits. Once alone, Vyrath faced Elias, her posture rigid. You didn't know what you were fighting for. Not a clue, Elias admitted, holding her gaze. Did you rig my entry? Her eyes widened, genuine surprise flashing across her face. Me? I fought it tooth and nail. My father admitted orchestrating it after your second win. She moved to a window, gazing at Lumisar's glowing spires. These trials always chose my suitor. For centuries, they've strengthened our bloodline. Now, they might bind me to a human. Elias studied her, seeing vulnerability beneath her regal mask. If I quit, what happens to you? I wed the winner, as tradition demands. Her voice was flat, resigned. Even if it's rigged? Her eyes met his, defiant yet searching. Even then, what if I keep fighting? Elias asked, his voice steady. She paused, her profile sharp against the city lights. Then you're brave, foolish, or both. Her gaze softened, almost imperceptibly. Rest, human. You'll need your strength. Midnight brought danger. Elias woke to the faint hiss of his door. 3 shadowed Klythari crept toward his bed, their blades glinting in the dim light. His hand closed around the ceremonial dagger Carvox had given him as he rolled off the bed, tackling the first assassin. A quick scuffle left one unconscious, another clutching a slashed arm. The third fled, straight into Vyrath. She moved like lightning, her blade a silver arc that dropped the assassin in a spray of blood. "Move," she said, sheathing her weapon. "More are coming." Elias didn't question her presence. "Mira, under guard," Vyrath said, leading him through dark corridors, her movements sure. "This is Draken's work. He despises your kind." They reached a secure chamber deep in the palace, its walls lined with exotic weapons, sonic spears, energy whips, and more. "My private training room," Vyrath said, sealing the door with a palm scan. "We're safe for now." "You saved my life," Elias said, catching his breath. "What?" "Assassination is cowardice," she snapped, her amber eyes flashing. "It insults our honor." She paused, her voice softening. "And your death would serve my father's plans. So, I'm just a pawn to protect." Her eyes narrowed. "You're an anomaly, Elias Varn. You fight with skill, speak truth to power, and keep going despite the stakes." She stepped closer, studying his face with unsettling intensity. "Why didn't you quit?" The question caught him off guard. Why hadn't he? "I couldn't leave you to marry some puppet in a rigged game," he said, his voice low. Surprise flickered across her face, quickly masked. "Noble, but we're strangers. I know you opposed my entry. You warned me. You just killed for me." He stepped closer, the air between them charged. "That's enough." The tension was palpable. Vyrath broke eye contact, moving to a weapons rack. "If you're staying, you need proper training. Show me your stance." Hours passed in a blur of sweat and steel. Vyrath corrected his form, her precision guiding his improvisation. Their movements synced, like a dance born of mutual respect. She taught him a Klythari legend about a human who visited Vyrath centuries ago, leaving behind a prophecy of unity. "Some say you're his echo," she said, her voice soft. During a complex spar, their bodies collided, her metallic skin cool against his. Neither pulled away. Her breath was warm on his neck. "You adapt quickly," she murmured, her voice low. "Good teacher," Elias replied, his hand lingering on her waist, the armor's edges biting into his palm. A distant alarm shattered the moment. Vyrath stepped back, her composure snapping into place. "Dawn's coming. Your semifinal is in 3 hours." As they prepared to leave, she grabbed his arm. "Draken's killers will try again. Trust no one." "I trust you," Elias said, his voice steady. Her lips quirked. "Then you're still a fool." But her eyes told a different story as she slipped into the shadows. The semi-final was a nightmare. Elias's opponent, Rykar, a northern Klythari with a reputation for cruelty, exploited every weakness. His sonic blade vibrated the air, disorienting Elias. Flashbacks to his academy days, grueling sparring under Earth's sun, kept him grounded. Vyrath's training echoed in his mind. Use their strength against them. He baited Rykar into overextending, then slammed him into the arena floor with a grappling move. The crowd, once silent, roared with reluctant admiration as Elias claimed victory, limping from the ring. "You face Zorath tomorrow," Karvok said later, as medics stitched Elias's wounds. "Be unyielding. He's never lost. Many say he should have wed Vyrath years ago." "Why didn't he?" Elias asked, wincing as a medic applied a healing gel. "Frontier duty," Karvok said, his tone heavy with implication. His return was convenient. Another of Cypherian's chess moves, Elias thought. That night, Vyrath slipped into his recovery chamber, dismissing the guards with imperial authority. "You should rest," she said, inspecting his bandages with clinical precision. "So should you," he countered, a grin tugging at his lips. "Instead, you're sneaking around with a scandalous human." Her lips quirked upward. "Perhaps I enjoy risk." She sat beside him, closer than protocol allowed. "Zorath requested a private audience with me today." Elias's chest tightened, a flare of jealousy surprising him. "And he vowed to kill you slowly, as a wedding gift." Her fingers brushed his bandaged ribs, sending a jolt through his skin. "He thinks I want your death. And you don't?" Elias asked, his voice soft. Her amber eyes met his, vulnerability breaking through her regal mask. I thought I wanted a Klythari champion, perfect in our ways. Now, her hand rested on his chest, feeling his heartbeat. You challenge everything I believed. Your adaptability, your defiance. It's changing how I see our traditions. Elias covered her hand with his. If I win, you're stuck with me. If that's not what you want. What I want never mattered, she whispered, her voice trembling. Until now. He leaned in, their lips meeting in a kiss that was both fierce and tender. Her metallic skin warmed under his touch, her glowing hair spilling loose. When they parted, her eyes sparkled with unshed tears. That's not in any diplomatic manual, she teased, her voice husky. Human luck ritual, Elias grinned. For battle. Her expression grew serious. Zorath has killed dozens. Even with my training, he silenced her with another kiss. Then tonight better count. At dawn, Lisha slipped Elias a data crystal. From the princess. View it alone. The hologram showed Sci-Fi speaking with Draken, the leader of a conservative Klythari faction. The human survival is useful, Sci-Fi said, his voice cold. If he beats Zorath, the marriage secures Concord tech. If he dies, our traditions hold. And Vera's feelings? Draken asked. Irrelevant, Sci-Fi sneered. She knows her duty. The recording ended, leaving Elias with a bitter taste. He found Vyrath in a secluded garden, her posture rigid with suppressed rage. You saw it, she said as he approached. How long have you known? He asked, sitting beside her on a stone bench. Suspected after your first win. Confirmed yesterday. Her hands trembled slightly. My father sees me as a political asset. This tournament is his latest scheme. And Draken's in on it. A temporary alliance, she said bitterly. If you win, Concord Tech strengthens the Empire. If Zorath wins, Draken's faction gains power through marriage. She turned to him, her eyes fierce. Either way, I'm the prize. Elias took her hands. What do you want, Vyrath? Not the princess. Not the Emperor's daughter. You. The question stunned her, her expression shifting as she grappled with it. I want to choose my path, she said slowly. To lead with wisdom, not manipulation. And her eyes met his, soft yet determined. I want to know if what I feel for you is real. If I win, we decide what this marriage means, Elias said. A true alliance, built on respect. She smiled, a rare warmth breaking through. That sounds dangerously human. As the final match's call echoed through the gardens, Vyrath stood. Zorath fights with control. He'll bait you, expecting submission. Don't give it. She squeezed his hand. Win or lose, we face what comes next together. The arena was a sea of silence as Elias faced Zorath, a 7-foot titan with cropped, glowing hair and scars like warm metals across his bronze skin. The human who'd be prince, Zorath taunted, his voice carrying across the ring. Your luck ends here. In the Imperial box, Sci-Fi watched with calculated interest, Vyrath beside him, her eyes locked on Elias. The gong rang, its resonance shaking the air. Victory by submission, incapacitation, or death. Zorath attacked like a machine, his energy whip cracking with lethal precision. Elias dodged, his body screaming from prior fights. Is this humanity's best? Zorath sneered, drawing blood from Elias's arm with a flick of his whip. Elias parried a strike, remembering Vyrath's advice. Don't play his game. Instead of retreating, he dove into Zorath's reach, flipping the warrior off balance with a grappling move. The crowd gasped, their hair pulsing brighter. Elias landed 2 quick strikes before Zorath roared. Vyrath taught you. She shames herself. You shame her, fighting for politics. Elias shot back, his words striking home. Zorath's control slipped, his strikes wilder. The fight was a brutal ballet. Zorath's raw power against Elias's cunning. Blood stained the floor, Elias's strength fading. A crushing blow sent him sprawling, the whip coiling around his chest. Zorath raised his blade for the kill. Elias saw Vyrath, her composure breaking as she gripped the railing. For her, he moved. Rolling aside, he used Vyrath's counterstrike, pinning Zorath's throat with his dagger. Yield! Zorth's eyes burned with hatred, but he spat. I yield. The crowd exploded, some in outrage, others in awe. The official raised Elias's arm. Victor of the Sacred Combat Trials, Elias of the Concord. Vyra's nod from the box was subtle but clear. This was just the start. Vyra summoned Elias to the war room, where glowing maps lit the air. Draken's followers plan a wedding attack, she said, pointing to key locations. They'll hide in the crowd, smuggling weapons. Elias studied the maps. Use Concord scanners. They'll catch energy signatures your guards might miss. Mira coordinated with Sci-Fi, who gave the green light. Over 2 days, Elias and Vyra worked tirelessly, blending Concord tech with Klythari strategy. They met noble houses, Elias's sincerity winning them over. I'm here to strengthen the Empire, he said, his voice steady. This alliance makes us all stronger. Zykar, the vendor, became an unlikely ally, spreading word of Elias's bravery. The humans got spark, he declared, his hair pulsing with excitement. The wedding day dawned electric. The palace buzzed with guards, human and Klythari working as one. Elias stood at the altar, nerves mixing with joy. Vyra approached, radiant in robes that shimmered like Vyrath's storms, her silver skin glowing. Her smile was just for him. During the vows, a guard's voice crackled in their earpieces. Energy signals in Sector 3. Elias met Vyra's eyes. Go, she said. I've got this. He slipped away, leading a team to a service tunnel where Draken's remnants were breaking in. The fight was swift. Elias used a Concord stun grenade to disorient them, then tackled the leader. He raced back, sliding into place as the officiant asked, Do you, Elias of the Concord, take Princess Vyra as your wife? I do, he said, breathless but firm. And you, Princess Vyra, take Elias as your husband? I do, she said, her grin lighting the room. The crowd roared as they kissed, the sound shaking the palace. At the reception, Sci-Fi approached. You've earned this alliance, he said. It may yet hold. Vyra took Elias's hand. Together, we'll lead the Empire forward. As they danced under Vyrath's twin sons, Elias leaned close. I love you, Vyra. I love you, she whispered, more than I ever dreamed. The days that followed were a whirlwind. Elias and Vyra built the alliance step by step, launching joint projects. Concord Quantum Tech fused with Klythari Energy Systems. Mira returned to Earth with a solid deal. The tech transfer strengthening both worlds. Elias adapted to Klythari life, sharing human ideas while learning their ways. Vyra found freedom in their partnership, making choices with him, not for her father. They became a symbol, proof that love could bridge stars. One night, on their palace balcony, Elias held her hand, gazing at Lumisar's glowing spires. This is just the start, he said. Vyra leaned against him, her hair pulsing softly. And it's going to be epic. Their story ended there, but their work didn't. The Empire grew stronger, as did the Concord. All because a human and a princess chose each other, forging a future neither could have imagined.